Nestled at the end of Maple Drive was a neatly fenced house, painted in soft shades of cream and blue. It was the picture of peace, well-trimmed hedges, the distant sound of lawnmowers, and the occasional chirp of birds completing the suburban dream. This house belonged to the Carter family: Thomas, his wife Elise, their 7-year-old daughter Lily, and their beloved golden retriever Max. Max had been with the Carters since before Lily was born. Loyal, gentle, and uncommonly intelligent, he was more than a pet, he was family. He'd wait by the door for Thomas to return from work, rest his head in Lily's lap when she cried, and always alert the family if anything seemed off. But lately something was off. It started subtly. Every night around 2 a.m., Max would leave his usual spot by the bedroom door and walk to Lily's room. There he'd sit by her bed and begin to growl. Not a bark, not a snarl, just a low, guttural growl that echoed through the hallway like a distant thunder. Chapter 2: Sleepless Nights. At first Thomas brushed it off. Maybe Max heard a raccoon outside or was reacting to dreams. But it continued, night after night. Elise began waking up from the growling too, tension building in the house. Lily, when asked, said she didn't remember anything, just that Max was always near her bed, his golden eyes watching. "I think he's trying to protect her," Elise said one morning at breakfast, her eyes dark from lack of sleep. "From what?" Thomas asked. "There's nothing to protect her from." But deep inside, something gnawed at him. Why would a dog that loved Lily more than life itself suddenly act so strange? Chapter 3: The Hidden Camera. After 2 weeks of this mysterious behavior, Thomas made a decision. He installed a small night vision baby cam in Lily's room. It wasn't to catch anyone, but just to ease their minds. Maybe Max was dreaming. Maybe Lily was talking in her sleep. Either way, he had to know. That night, Max growled again, longer this time, almost like he was warning something. Thomas lay awake in bed, counting the seconds until sunrise. The next morning he rushed to his laptop to check the footage. At 1:59 a.m. the room was still. Lily turned slightly in her sleep, her blanket pulling to one side. At 2:01, Max padded into the room, sat by the bed, and began growling. Then something shocking happened. The blanket shifted, upward. Not down from Lily's movements, but lifted unnaturally. As if someone or something was pulling it up. Max barked suddenly, loud and fierce. The blanket dropped. Lily stirred. Thomas's blood turned cold. Chapter 4: The Whisper. After watching the footage, Thomas didn't know what to think. There was no one in the room. No explanation. That evening he showed Elise. She clasped her hands over her mouth. "That's not possible. Could it be sleep paralysis? Night terrors?" Thomas offered, unsure of his own words. "Lily isn't the one awake," Elise said quietly. "It's Max." And then Lily said something chilling the next day. At breakfast, in between spoonfuls of cereal, she said, "Daddy, there's a woman in my room at night." Thomas dropped his mug. "What do you mean, sweetie?" "She talks funny. She has a dress like Grandma's, but her face is wrong." Chapter 5: The Research. Thomas dove into research. He read forums, bought books on paranormal phenomena, and even visited the local library's history archives. He learned that their neighborhood, Maple Drive, had been built on land once occupied by an old boarding school, one that mysteriously burned down in the early 1900s. No one knew how or why. Rumors of abuse, haunted halls, and restless spirits surrounded the tale. One name kept appearing: Agatha Bloom, a headmistress with a cruel reputation. She was said to discipline children harshly and had a love for control. She perished in the fire. And her dormitory? Right where the Carters' home now stood. Chapter 6: The Medium. Desperate, Thomas and Elise contacted a spiritual medium. Her name was Celeste, an older woman with silver hair and soft, kind eyes. She arrived carrying incense, crystals, and a notebook filled with names. As she walked through the house, she paused in Lily's room. "There's sorrow here," she said. "And rage." Max sat beside her, calm but alert. Celeste began a ritual, asking Lily to stay with Elise downstairs. Thomas stayed in the room, holding Max by the collar. "I can feel her," Celeste whispered. "She thinks this is still her place." "Who?" Thomas asked. "Agatha." Chapter 7: The Confrontation. That night, Celeste returned for a cleansing ceremony. Candles were lit in every room and salt was poured across thresholds. In Lily's room, Celeste burned sage and spoke in a language Thomas didn't recognize. Then everything stopped. The room grew cold. Max growled, low and deep. A gust of wind blew out the candles. And then came the scream. Not from a person, but from the air itself. A woman's wail, furious and echoing through the walls. Celeste shouted a name, "Agatha Bloom, you are no longer welcome here." Suddenly Max lunged forward, barking violently toward the closet door. The door slammed shut. And then silence. Chapter 8, Aftermath. That was the last night Max growled. Thomas checked the footage. Nothing happened at 2 a.m. No blankets moved. No eerie whispers. Lily slept soundly. Celeste warned them the energy might return, but with Max's protection and the cleansing, the house would likely stay safe. Thomas held Lily close that night, thankful for the loyal dog who had seen what no one else could. Epilogue. Max the Guardian. Years passed. Lily grew older. Max, now slower and graying, still slept by her bed. She never saw the woman again. But sometimes she'd leave a biscuit on her windowsill. "For Max," she'd whisper. "My hero." Moral of the story: even when we cannot see it, animals can sense what's hidden. Trust in their instincts. Sometimes they're the only ones who can protect us from the darkness we don't even know is there.